Hi, my name is Edward Kwong, and today I am going to talk about Elia 8.6 installation. And Elia 8.6 has recently been released, and we have quite a few customers on the Elia 8.6 already. And so today we mainly going to talk about some requirement, and we will also show you some of the things you need to pay attention when you install Elia 8.6. And once you're done with Elia 8.6, and how do you run it? And then we're also going to show you a little bit about some of the utility you can use with Elia 8.6. After that, we will show you an actual demo so you can have a better idea how to install Elia 8.6. All right, so first, if you want to install Elia 8.6, you need to make sure that you have the pSQL 13 or 15 server. And in the pSQL, in the previous Elia version 8.5, we support a lot more previous version, right? But in 8.6, we only support pSQL 13 and 15. Make sure that you have the pSQL database engine before you install Elia 8.6. We require Windows Server 2012. More specifically, we don't support Windows 2008 Server anymore. You need to log in as an admin user or admin equivalent user, so you have sufficient right to do this installation. Elia run from network share, so therefore on the server you need to have the network share already created, and then if you are existing Elia user, obviously you already have that network share installed, otherwise you wouldn't be able to run. And lastly, if you are updating existing Elia 8.6, you need to make sure that your Elia 8.6 registration is not expired before you can install the latest Elia update. Now, to install Elia 8.6, basically you need to install to equivalent local path of the Elia network path where you run. And now it's a little bit too difficult to explain right now, but I will show you more when we actually do the demo. And now when we do the installation, if Elia the root directory already installed, then we would just say, oh, okay, either you are upgrading from 8.5 to 8.6, or if bin86 directory already exists, and then what will happen is we just say, oh, okay, you are updated existing Elia 8.6. And in that case, and we will check if your existing Elia 8.6 maintenance expiration date, if it's expired. If it is expired, we will not let you install. And on the other hand, if the Elia root directory does not exist, then we just say, oh, this is the new Elia installation. We will install everything that comes with Elia 8.6, and all the folder and file will be installed in the destination. And in the installation processing, we will also pop up the Elia database configuration utility, and well, we'll show you and give you more explanation. And then the other one that will pop up is the Elia configuration screen, and we'll go through more. And finally, when the Elia done with the installation, then the next question is, how do you run it, right? To run it, we need to have an icon, okay, on your desktop or in your menu structure. And so we will go through user use a program that's under the Elia Bing A6 folder called ELA60.exe. And then this one, not only it will create the icon, but it will also create, or I should say, copy the local copy of your Elia. And then so then from that point on, you will run from local. And you need to repeat this step for each one of your workstation for them to run Elia 8.6. You can run Elia 8.5 and then 8.6 side by side, but you cannot run on the same desktop for A5 and A6 at the same time. We'll talk about that. And then lastly, maybe after you install Elia 8.6, you use for a while, maybe you want to make changes to some of the configuration, which is we allow you to do during the setup, but later on you want to make changes. And then we'll show you how to use the ELA60CF utility. CF stands for configuration. And then you may also want to use the ELA60DB utility. DB stands for the database. It will create the Elia database for you. You can do it manually with pSQL Control Center, but the utility we provide make it easy. With that, I am going to show you a demo how this works. So the first thing is you need to make sure that the Elia 8.6 is downloaded. So to install Elia 8.6 first, of course, you need to have the installation package. And if you're one of our users, we would let you know how to download the Elia A6 installation utility. So I just downloaded and I'm going to run it right now. And it will ask me to give the admin right elevation. And then from that point on, it's going to ask me to say, oh, do I want to install it? And confirm the version number. I say next. And then I need to accept the license agreement. And now this folder, chances are, is not correct. Because what will happen is, remember earlier I said that you need to install to the local path of the network share equivalent. And I need to install to the M drive because this is where I'm going to run Elia. And then Elia A folder already have a Bing A5 because I am on Elia 8.5 version right now. And what will happen is Elia A6 will create a Bing A6 folder in this case. And then, but I cannot directly install into the M drive. This is very important. You need to install into the equivalent local share. So this laptop dash, JATH6OUH is actually my computer, or you can say that's a server. And then it's under the ACCT share. Where is it? It's under my D drive. And then if you go to D drive, I have an ACCT folder, and this is my share. I need to install it into this path. So I need to actually install into D drive ACCT Elia 8. That's basically what I need to do. And so right now they ask me, hey, do you want to install into the C drive Elia 8? And 99% of the time, this is the wrong path. So you have to change the path, okay? And then so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go to D drive and I'm gonna choose ACCT. I'm gonna choose Elia 8, okay? And then I'm gonna say, okay. So in this case, system will know that, oh, this folder already exists. So you want to do update. Well, then in this case, it's actually upgrade because we are going to create a whole entire Bing A6 folder. But because I already have all the other folder, like the data folder, etc. So it's not going to create the entire LEA data structure for me. It will only focus on the executable, which is the Bing A6. So I'm gonna say next, and I'm gonna choose typical, and I'm gonna say install. All right, so it start doing the installation, and processing is actually pretty fast. All right, so now it is installed, and then it pop up this utility called EL860DB utility, and this utility will create the database folder, and I'm sorry, the database for LEA 6 in order to run. And it recognizes right now my local folder has this data 99, and the tutorial. And so it suggests I need to create the corresponding data name, which is the LEA 6 data, LEA 6 data 99, and LEA data 00. This is the convention we use, and then we suggest you to follow the convention. Now, you do not have to create all of them. Let's say, suppose tutorial, you said, nah, I don't need that. And then data 99, and then you don't really need to run LEA 8.6. You can uncheck them. So then you only create the database that you want to, do. And then so you select data, and then you said create database. And then so now it create a LEA 6 root, and it create the LEA 6 data. LEA 6 root is the database for the data file we save in the root directory, and which in the past typically is not an issue, but in the LEA 8.6 we have a lot of data file in the root directory, and then for the report desk and then Power Search. And so we need to have a data name to access that. And then this is accessing the relational data in the LEA data folder. And then so in LEA 8.6, we support the report desk and Power Search. And then both these two functions rely on the relational database engine. And so so you need to basically use this process to create the relational database name associated with the data. And then so then you can use those functions. And this is not a requirement in the prior version, but it become a requirement for LEA 8.6. So I'm going to click on next. Now, so I just create the database, and now they ask me for license key, and then at this moment I can put in my 8.6 license key. Keep in mind, 8.6 license key is different than A5, and if you are already on A5, and then you say I want to run LEA 8.6, you need to contact us, and we will send you a 8.6 license key. And so this is the place where you can put it in and then validate. And if you do not put in the license key at this moment, then it just become a demo mode. And then there's a several tab. This is the email tab, which is it will copy from your 8.5 setting, and then if you can detect it. And there's a report desk, and not much you need to do here. Database tab. Now this is important, Let's say suppose I want to run my relational feature, which is report desk and the power search, I need to indicate what is the database for that particular data folder. So then I will click drop down here. And as you can see that I have Eli A6 data. That's basically the one I'm gonna use. Now, I did not create for the tutorial and then 99, so I won't be able to select the database. So now that's basically what I need to do. I link the database to the particular data folder. And then so now I can use the relational feature for that particular company. And then so I'm gonna say finish now, okay? And so the configuration is updated and I'm done with my installation. So now the Elia 8.6 is installed now, but how do I run it, right? And then I was previously on Elia 8.5, but how do I run Elia 8.6? So what you need to do right now is on the machine, which is the server, typically that you run that you have Elia installed, and then you need to go to the map drive. So the map drive is the N drive, okay? I don't run from D drive because D drive is local to the server only. I need to run from a map drive called N drive, which is all my other workstation can also map to this N drive on the workstation side. And then we need to run on the same map drive throughout the whole entire company. So obviously I cannot run directly from the D drive, right? And then so I need to go to the N drive, and I will navigate to the Elia A and then go to the bin A6, and then you will find there's this EL860EXE. This will create the desktop icon for you so you can run Elia. Now, but most important, this program, if I choose to run it, is it will create your local path. Now, see, my network folder is M drive Elia A bin A6. And then you see my local folder. It will point into my local user EMK, app data, local, etc. Now, you can change it, but if you don't know what you're doing, don't change it, okay? And so then you can say, oh, what is the shortcut I want to create? And if I say, in addition to Elia 8.6, you said I may want to run deferred processing on this machine, then you can check deferred processing. And but in this case, I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, so I check that. But obviously, this is the one that you should check, which is the Elia 8.6. Bring up the control center that you can do everything from there. Now, so I am basically say create. So once I do a create, this is copying from the M drive master folder to my local C drive user EMK app data folder, and then once it finishes the copying, it will create an icon on my desktop, and then the icon will be pointing to this local folder. So from that point on, I am not running from, okay, I'm done with that. And as you can see, this is Elia A6, right? And then if I right click on this Elia A6, and well, it doesn't have property. Oh, yeah, it has some property here. And then you can see that it is pointing to my local folder, C drive user EMK app data, etc. Now, but as I run my Elia A6 from my local folder, and well, the first thing is we'll tell you that okay, your 8.5 SMTP setting has been copied to 8.6 now, and then but from that point on, these two settings will be stay independent. If you change your A5, it's not going to change A6. If you change your A6, it's not going to affect A5. Okay, so they give you that information. So now remember, I didn't put in the registration key, right? So now this is in the demo mode, and demo has certain limitation, as you can see right here. So now I can log in. Now, if you look at LEA 8.6, on the surface, it looks just like 8.5. But underneath, if you explore further, actually there's a lot more powerful feature. The two main feature is report desk and power search, and which we're not gonna cover right now. And we will talk about that in separate session, okay? And so that's basically for now. But then before I go, and remember earlier I create a earlier database for the company one, right? But what if, let's say, I want to also using report desk and power search for company 99? In that case, you will need to navigate to your Android, and under the Android, there's a utility called ELA60DB. Okay, so ELA60DB stands for database. You click on it, and now this looks familiar to you, right? And we actually went through this when we were doing the installation. But now I want to add data 99, and I want to create a database. So I said create database. So now data 99 also has the corresponding data. So that's what I want to do. Now, but at the moment, I also need to go to the configuration to link my 99 company to the database I just create. So I can go do the ELA60CF. CF stands for configuration. And so I can click on it and start running it. Okay, well, it can take a little bit of time. So now the configuration up, if you have the license key right now, you want to plug in, you can plug in the license key. But right now, my main focus is I want to go to the database. And I just create the database for company 99, right? Now I need to associate it. And then so I click this download. I said earlier A6 data 99. I just created, okay? It's associated with this company. So I finish it. And I'm done. So this is two utility that likely you may need to access from time to time. And with that, I have finished my presentation today. Thank you for watching my presentation, and you have a good day.